Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new, fresh, crisp episode of Real Business Roundtable. Today, we're going to give a shout out to Powdered Toast Man, and we're going to talk about kill the messenger. And no, we're not talking about hurting anybody. We're talking about when someone gives you business advice and you are not sure whether or not you should use that advice. We say kill the messenger, meaning like, hey, kill the idea. So we're not talking about hurting anybody. And just to keep tradition, I'm going to drink a Starbucks Nitro. They are not a motherfucking sponsor. I have to announce that based on the YouTube rules. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Or like Jake likes.
It's funny, we're never going to get sponsored because we just toss out names like that all the time.
But here's the thing. Our product shout-outs are real.
Yeah.
We're not making any money. No one's paying us. I like these products. And speak of the devil, today's non-sponsor. Again, these are products that I stand by, that I really like, that I think it's good for the public to know about. Now, do you ever see those electrolyte drinks? You go to the store, you're looking at the ingredients, you can't pronounce half of the ingredients. You just know your body needs nourishment, you need hydration, okay? Super important. A lot of these electrolyte drinks contain ingredients that are not the best for you, okay? You have fake sweeteners, you have sometimes just sugar, all this other stuff. This brand right here, Key Nutrients Powdered Electrolytes. You can look it up on Amazon. We're not an affiliate. There's no financial benefit. It comes in a variety of flavors. My favorite that I use on not the daily, but a lot, is the lemonade. I love that flavor. Comes in watermelon, blue raspberry, pink lemonade. I think there's like a cherry one. Give it a shot. Give it a try. You'll love it. So I'm going to do a demonstration. So here's my raw milk glass container with good Monadnock water. Give Monadnock water a shout out. I want you to show their logo.
Wait, how much should you mix with one packet?
I don't know. I think it says like 20 ounces.
So like right around what I have here. Yeah, I have about 20, I don't know, 22 ounces.
Put it in your water. I'm trying not to put my mouth on plastic. So I got my glass milk container. But it actually, here's the thing. It's sweetened with stevia. According to what Samir told me, I always thought it was monk fruit. I don't know. So let's just give it a mix. Okay.
A few moments later.
Did you just put one? Trying to.
Oh my God.
It's too early for this. It's too early for this.
I was up so late last night.
Look, now it's like a delectable sweet treat. And let's give it a sip. It does need another packet, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I was gonna say.
It's not good enough. It's not. Ladies and gentlemen, we refer to this as a shit show. This is a shit.
It's not a shit show. Yeah, it's good.
I'm putting more cherry.
It's a very light. I mean, it's not. It's like almost like, you know how you get those naturally flavored waters. It kind of has that same vibe to it, that same texture, flavor kind of thing going on. Yeah, you probably have like 60 ounces in there.
I don't know what's going on, dude.
Huh? Oh, the bottle? Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Now we're gonna taste. Oh, that is good. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
key
it's good.
nutrients. Key nutrients.
How much? Wait, can I see like what? How much is in it though? Like, is it like?
So just be
All right,
really careful.
Looks like we got magnesium's good, 100 milligrams in amount per serving. So 1 packet. So zinc, 2.9 milligrams. Copper, 0.5 milligrams. Manganese, not magnesium. Manganese. Manganese citrate, which is good, 0.5 milligrams.
Citrate. It's citrate. Citrate.
Oh yeah, and magnesium citrate, whatever, 100 milligrams. Calcium, biotin, niacin, riboflavin, thiamine, vitamin C. Yeah, these are good. Sodium, obviously, should have sodium. 110 milligrams. Potassium. Yeah, it's good.
So if you're fasting or you're intermittent fasting, some people
It's phosphorus. That's, you don't see that often.
some people need to, it's good to keep your electrolytes up, because if you're doing like a 24-hour fast, you got to make sure you have this. Don't be an idiot.
Pantothenic acid. What is that? Never heard of that.
But so
Yes.
So
Yes.
So not I would have to research that and get back.
Yeah, pantothenic acid.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
I am not sure. But I do know it tastes good and it's good for you. And let's get back to the show. Now, kill the messenger. What do we mean? When you are running a business, whether it's friends, loved ones, family, whoever it is, friends of friends, and you may talk about something related to your business and you get some advice. The question is, do you use that advice? Is that sound advice? Sometimes you have to, be respectful, let the person speak, let you use best judgment. But you have to look at that person's experience. Now, it might be advice about, let's say, something related to people skills. For example, you may be having an issue with an employee or a contractor or something, and someone says, well, do this and do that. If it's on a human level and it's related to just best practices of how you interact with people, how you treat people, yes, okay, that actually would work. But if it's something to do with, let's say, a business strategy for an industry, and that person does not have the acumen, and you have, let's say you have a business understanding, right? You've been in the industry for a while, and someone says, hey, you should do this. Or you're watching a video on YouTube. The question is, what does this person bumping their gums have for knowledge? Okay. Do they have an insight into an industry from experience, a past job, a past career, past client? Okay. So the thing, when you take a business advice from somebody and they have worked with, let's say, a variety of industries, and they understand a standard foundation of business, business 101, right? The standards, the best practices. I would, even somebody that, okay, let's say someone who's a business finance person at a bank. They know a shitload. They have looked at spreadsheets. They have looked at account statements. They have looked at trends. They see what industries struggle, what industries do well, thrive, all that stuff. So that if a business banker said something to me, I would take it more seriously than if somebody
it has
gave
to do
me
with
advice.
finances and stuff. Yeah.
Like, let's say I was thinking about doing something or investing something in my business. Chances are that business banker knows something similar that someone did and say, that might not be. I peel back the onion, no matter who is successful. And I don't want to poo-poo or shit on anybody that got successful. Oh God. So dude, this is really important, because sometimes you have people who made their money in, let's say, real estate. Okay. You got a person that made a shit ton of money in real estate, and now they're giving out advice on how you should build your software company. Like, bro, even though you're fucking loaded and you are successful with real estate, why are you telling me a strategy for my software company? For example, this is what I'm talking about. So just because people made it somewhere does not mean that their advice is gospel, because they probably don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah. I mean,
so
yeah,
understand
I
their background.
It's weird. Yeah. Taking advice is honestly, it's interesting.
I had a real estate, I believe I was told he was a billionaire. I had a real estate billionaire look at me in my face and said, Bitcoin is a fad. I'm going to explain this. Let me explain this.
How old was this guy? Because it sounds like
this is this is when this motherfucker. I have to control myself on the show. This guy looked at me in my face and he said, Bitcoin is a fad. He was a billionaire. And this is when Bitcoin was at $400.
What is like the greatest advice that you've gotten? Because now we're talking about advice, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm very selective with the type of advice with the advice that I listen to, because I'm in a situation that not a lot of people have been in, and so it's like hard to really like. It's it depends. It's very subjective and situational. Like, for example, one big piece of advice that I've gotten that I've listened to is believe nothing of what you hear and half of what you see. And I obviously take that with a grain of salt, but with a lot of people that we meet with, that we talk with, that we plan on doing things with, like a lot of the times it's not, what you think, what you are told it is. And because I took that advice and I live by that, my expectations are set in a way that makes more sense. And I think that that's a piece of advice. And then the other one is how important consistency is, because every single day that you work is compounded. Like for any entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's like putting money in a piggy bank.
It's the same exact thing. So it's like, this is a huge piece of advice that I got. You work every single day, and consistency is very, very important. Even if the tasks and the things that you do in every day don't seem to weigh, they don't seem to have a lot of weight to them. They seem menial, maybe not very important. But at the end of the day, those tasks and those days, as long as you're staying consistent, they compound and they lead to, something much greater and bigger, even though it doesn't seem like that in that day, if that makes sense. That's like one big piece of advice that I've gotten from someone who's very, very successful. And I live by that. Every single day, no matter what you're doing, every call you make, every, thing you do, whatever it may be within your business, that compounds. And so tomorrow you may not be a millionaire. The next day you may not be a millionaire. You may not see huge results in 2 weeks. But after 6 months of doing those tasks every single day, those all compound, and it shows, and it really truly shows, as long as you're doing the right tasks and whatnot, things that actually make sense, doing the things that hold weight. But in that moment it may not feel like it, but they compound. That is a huge piece of advice. That
it's an investment.
Well, because the thing is people say that you don't become a millionaire overnight. Building a business is tedious. There's a lot of process to it. And when you see things online of people that have this business, you think overnight success. No, it's 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of work, and then boom, right? That's compounded interest. That's people working, someone working every single day and compounding results and all that stuff. That's one big piece of advice that I've taken. Absolutely.
When you make those moves and those steps and you keep putting in the work and getting better and better, those are investments into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not wasting time. You're practicing. You're getting better. That's the key, is to just keep moving forward. Now back to advice. there are different sides of the business that you can get advice from. You could get advice from someone who's never owned a business. Let's say they worked at in the advertising department at a local automotive dealer, and they knew a lot about digital ads, or they knew a lot about TV ads and media buying, right? They never owned a business. And let's say you started a business and your marketing sucks. That person can provide advice to you, okay? So understand, it's not always business owners or retired business owners or super successful business owners that can give advice. Anybody can give advice if they have a knowledge base, an acumen, and like hands-on experience. You got to understand, like, it's not always gurus on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't consider myself a guru. I'm just an everyday small business owner that helps other small businesses grow, and I want to just share and give back, okay? Take it however you want. But anyway, so like you see a lot of these guys on YouTube, and they're just like throwing out crazy numbers. And your main question is like, what did you do, right? And I've spoken, and I'm not going to say names, but I legit recently spoke to somebody that didn't have a savory experience with somebody big on YouTube. And that's probably the 5th time I've heard this.
A lot of the times it's not, because those big guru guys are using this like very basic advice to get access to these people who don't really understand business to sell a course.
I've gotten 5 and I haven't heard anything. I heard 1 that was kind of neutral, and then 5 that were not so great.
This is the thing about advice on social media. It is made for clicks. It's very basic. It's very, very basic forms of advice for any business or whatever that is using particular words to make it sound like it is like this amazing advice. Like, I can tell you, be consistent. That's a huge piece of advice. Like I just said before, the days compound, be consistent. But then someone else on YouTube or TikTok is going to come out here and talk about this whole elaborate, way of saying consistency matters, right? And then that it's just going to get more clicks. So, that's just the way I look at a lot of the advice. Like, some of the shit out there is good, right? Yeah. But they're not like they're not getting paid to consult for your business. They're not. It's very basic information. They're not telling you how to form a business. They're not telling you how to, special ways and tactics to run ads. They're not, it's guerrilla marketing. Like, they're not giving you that.
So it's like some of my best business advice has been a combination of different key people. My former employer, Steve, I used to sit in his office and pick his brain. I admired his success, and I used to ask him questions like, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? And, he'd be ripping butts at his desk, and he has a big dude, and he has this pinstripe suit. He'd have this pinstripe suit on, and he's just ripping cigarettes. And it was like just straight out of a comic book. But he ran a company that would make businesses grow. And I was probably 22. But the best advice that he gave me was, bottom line, if a business is profitable and then that thing that you're doing, whatever it is you're doing, is a reoccurring need, he goes, that's a recipe for a great business. Because like, that's a reoccurring need versus a one-time purchase of a pen or whatnot. That's a consumable, but let's say,
well, I mean, it could still be with this too.
But the life cycle, that's the question, is the life cycle. But he was saying, if you're providing a service or a thing that someone consistently needs, and let's say it's profitable, he goes, those are the 2 main things that you want to look at. Because like, when we would go out and visit businesses, when I was so green, like I had a degree in business, but like when he would give me little tidbits of advice on business, so when I would go out there and visit people, I had a little bit of knowledge. Because like, I would go out and I wouldn't know exactly, okay, should I comment on this and sometimes I would feel a little bit like not confident enough to say something to the business owner. So he had to coach me a little bit and say, hey, ask them this question. And then if they say, hey, they're all set with those problems in their business, ask them, well, what do you plan on doing about it?
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's like, if you're trying to help a small business and they just decide, I'm not going to do this, before you just part ways, you can say, well, what's your plan? That might rekindle something in their brain going, this is crazy. I should do something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's actually a big sales tactic. I was talking to someone recently, and they were talking about like kind of like anxiety and getting caught up on calls and stuff, and just like ways to kind of break out of that mindset, like certain things that you can do to just talk more smoothly over the phone. Mm-hmm. And one big thing that you just reminded me of was like, a lot of people, if they come off with objections, they'll come off with, if they have an issue, they'll come off with an objection, right?
Yeah.
And what I usually do a lot of the time, if I'm talking to someone very just smoothly, friendly, whatever, I'll hit them with a question, which the answer to the question answers their objection.
Wow.
And then I hit them with a value. And it's kind of like the same thing. Like if someone comes to you and they say, oh, well, you kind of want to turn the tables and catch them off guard in a way. It's like, okay, well, we're going to deal with this. Well, how? And then now they have to think about it. And you're like, you kind of throw them a value at them. That's like, I don't know why. That just like made me think of that.
Mm-hmm. Other business advice that I have received that I want to say that I look up to have to be some of the key businesses that I visited and kind of talk to them about their successes. And I would get like a little nugget here and a little nugget there. Always like, hey, shout out to Samir. It would be like, treat your employees good. Make sure they're comfortable. Make sure they're comfortable. Make sure that they, that they're provided with the tools, because they are the infrastructure of your company.
They are your company.
I remember a business owner, like when I was working at that company, like looked me in the face and said that. I was like, okay. And as a, young man, almost a kid, 22, I'm out there just calculating and cataloging in my head. Like, okay, that's good advice. That's good advice. But this advice came from business owners, and it was all relevant.
Came from people with experience.
Yeah, it was all relevant. So then you have
people who did it.
Yes.
People who succeeded. Yeah, sorry.
You have, and now here's the thing. If someone's giving you advice because they are referencing a case study, okay, that's referred to as book smarts. They read a book. Okay. That book was written by XYZ. Okay, if they are reiterating something that they read in a book related to a specific case study that they are citing, yes, you can take that advice. But double check where they heard that. Just say, yeah, so that's a great idea. Where'd you learn that? Just ask it in a nice way. If they go, oh, yeah, I just kind of thought of it. Well, take that with a grain of salt. Might have to research it yourself. The reason why I'm talking about this in this episode is because sometimes people will take advice and it's a nightmare. It's a pitfall. Like we deal with it all the time. We'll be talking to someone and one side of the party is like, no. And it's like, we know that's bad advice.
Well, I had a conversation recently, and it's really interesting. Sometimes the advice will come from, and I, like this sounds so weird because it's not really me trying to like sell something, right?
Yeah.
But I had a conversation with someone who started working within a business that their father owned, who their father was kind of stuck in their ways, which is fine. The business was successful to a point, which is great. But the son was like, yeah, I actually, I want to bring in more revenue. I want to do more things. And I was like,
exactly.
Well, this is how you would do it based off of the hundreds of businesses I've worked with that have done this and achieved what you're trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. And, the father was like, we don't need that. And it's like, it's like that sort of thing. So it's like, you got to take everything with a grain of salt.
It's frustrating. And it's frustrating. It's a little bit sad when you have someone who's inheriting a business or who's taking over, say, a son, a daughter, and they're being blocked by older
Old ways.
mindset mentality. Like, no, I don't want to advertise on the cue the stuttering cue the stuttering boy. Hold on. Take two. All right. They don't want to advertise on the serving mat at a diner. They don't want to advertise in the local coffee news. They don't want to do the old way of doing things. They want to be seen where the attention is. Open your brain. So if someone's giving you advice that's stuck in an old way that says, hey, you don't need to do that, step back and look at what the modern trend is. What is the modern trend? What is going on? Even though you love your dad that runs the business, right? Or whatever, let's say you have a relative that's going to give you a business, even though you respect them and you love them, step back for a minute and double check if that's with the times.
Well, I told him, and I believe in this wholeheartedly, take the advice, but make the move. Take the advice, but make the move.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is the old ways of doing things is very traditional, and it relates with a lot of people, and a lot of people like it. The traditional values of a business, service business, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But make that move to bring that traditional value to more people, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like take the advice, right? He's right. The traditional ways of business is usually good, especially in this industry. Especially in this industry that I'm talking about, I'm referencing. But go out and make the move and bring it to more people, to the mass market. Yeah. So that's what I told him, and I think he took it well. But what do you want to leave off with? We got a time constraint here.
So real quick, just to kind of summarize the episode, make sure that you identify where your business advice is coming from, how it can be applied, how is it relevant. So don't just take orders, even if somebody has a gazillion followers on YouTube. It doesn't fucking matter. It does not matter. I'm sorry, okay? Take everything that somebody says, step back, use your own knowledge, do a little bit of research on your own. Is what this person is saying, does it make sense? Does it make sense for me? Does it make sense for my business? Stop bowing down. Stop kissing the anuses of these motherfuckers on YouTube.
Thank you.
Shout out.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Real Business Roundtable. Shout out to who?
They open these anuses. They're like, they bow down and
Hope
they
you
kiss the
enjoyed
feet.
today's episode. Please like, subscribe.
Don't do that.
Peace out.